Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is Fisher Vlog number 164. And before I get into the main topic for today's video, I want to show you these guys. This is my current culturing system for Daphnia, and you see it's doing really well. And it also ties into another request I had, which was filterless systems. And as you can see, this jar, which is basically an aquarium, it's not running on any filter. There's snails in here, plants, and the Daphnia are thriving. I know they're not fish, but I do have other fish-related ones coming up, so please stay tuned for that. I want to show you these guys as well. They're growing really well, and I'm very happy with them. And I still haven't done a head count on them, but there are quite a few in here, and I'm very happy. That's just nice that they're finally surviving, and who would have thought it took adding cherry shrimp in to give them whatever it took to survive. So there you go. I'm going to show you the back end of this as well, and you can see a really tiny one right there. And like I said, it's just really nice to see them and see them doing well. So today's video, it comes from a comment I got, which is, what is my feeding routine in the morning? So that's what I'm going to do. This is far back as I can get from my fish room. If I go any further, it is a concrete wall. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through my morning routine, which takes about roughly 15 minutes. And I start off with flake food. That jar, I have a big bin. You see the white Tupperware or Rubbermaid bin, I think it is, in the desk there near the back of the video. I have a few of those, and what I do is I buy my fish food in bulk. I have 5 different kinds of flake food I pick up, and then I just mix them all together, and I put them in these jars, and then I feed them to my fish. I don't have any brands that I prefer. I have a company that, so far the fish food's fine. I haven't really had any issues with it, and that's how I get my food. The fish feeding, like as far as flake food goes, it takes, 2 minutes, and that's it. And I feed flake food twice a day, and the main feeding is in the morning. I should probably feed more, but I don't. This is, green beans. I throw these into my Pleco breeding tanks, and I throw one in to the goldfish, mostly just because, it's just a toy for them to play with. They do eat it, but it just kind of amuses them. This is where the baby plecos are, and I squish one up for them. I do have to obviously siphon a fair amount of that out from time to time because, they just don't eat it all. I throw in one into scouted culture, and then whatever's left over I toss into the pleco tank. And that's it. That's all I do for that. And the other thing I do for these sorts of fish, any of the algae eaters, is I have, it's a jar, and it's an assortment of kelp wafers, spirulina wafers, and also just actual name brand Pleco food. I think it's Tetra, and I just mix them together and I throw a few into each tank, and that's it. One other thing I'm doing is I feed the Daphnia culture, that thing you saw in the beginning. And currently what I'm doing is I add one of those Pleco wafers, and I just use a mortar and pestle, and I just make it as fine as possible. I have spirulina powder on order, and it's going to be coming soon, and I'm going to try that out. This works well. It's, as far as I can tell, it's fine. We'll see what happens when I switch over to spirulina powder and see if that's any different. If I get better success, who knows. So anyway, that's what I'm doing currently, and it works. And all I do is, like I said, I grind it up as fine as I can, and then I put a bit of water in it and smoosh it around, try to get as much suspended as I can. Rinse off all that into my usual way of dispensing pretty much everything in my fish room, which is just an old, it's a sour cream container. I used to like making sour cream and onion soup mix a long time ago, and I just use the containers now. They're very handy. And I put a little squirt into each of the Daphnia cultures, and like I said, so far they're doing really well. Now this is not a wild culture. I decided to order some off of Amazon because The other cultures are doing fine. One of them is actually still a wild culture, and it's growing and it's fine. It's got Cyclopses in it, and it's got Daphne in it, and it's, like I said, I maintain it, and it's fine. These homogeneous cultures, like the one where you just have one specific species in it, seem to do a bit better. We'll see in the long term if it makes any difference. So this is the other thing I do is I feed baby brine shrimp to all the fry. And what I did at the beginning of the video is I pulled out the air tube that keeps this all circulating, and I let it all settle out. I just stick it up here because it's high and I don't have to hang on to it. I suppose I should build a little shelf for this, but I am, and I'm sorry about this taking so long, Don, but I am in the process of putting together a hatchery of my own, and they're just going to clip onto the side of the tank, so I don't have to stand here and do this. So this is the screen I had made quite some time ago, and it's perfect for this. It's just crinoline and some acrylic, and it filters out the stuff quite well. And of course that's the sink I put together, and I really like the sink. It's very, very handy. It gets, it gets a lot of use. So this takes actually probably the lion's share of what I need to do in the morning, and that is gradually just siphoning this down. I'm not being ultra careful. I mean, there are some cysts that will get into there, but I'm trying to make sure I get mostly just the hatch, and that's more than good enough. So this goes back up here for the moment, and then I will clean that out at the end and reset it. So there you go. That's my brine shrimp for the day, and I will invert this onto my ever so useful container, and then suspend it in fresh tank water and put it into all the aquariums so that, well, I have fry. So that'll be that 6 tanks on this side, right in front of, and there's about 3 or 4 on the other side. So once I have that cleaned out, I will dip this into one of the aquariums that I won't catch any fish in, and just fill it right up. And there you go. That's just a matter of avoiding the guppies because they get everywhere. They are very curious, and they just get right into stuff. So once this is all nice and suspended, I'll give it a couple of squirts just to stir it up, and then each tank gets a squirt, and I will do this only once a day because currently I am running 3 cultures, and I will set this one up. It'll go into the back of the rotation, and tomorrow I'll use the next one in line, and 2 days from now this one will be back to the front again, and I will keep the whole process going. On the left here, that was guppies, OB zebras. For some reason I've been putting some brine shrimp in with the baby plecos. I don't know if it does any good. That tank up there is some new OB zebras, and I'm just giving a little extra. And whatever's left, I just divide it between the tanks, and that's it. And that is my morning feeding routine. All that's left to do now is to clean out that jar, and I go upstairs to do that because I keep the can of brine shrimp in the freezer, and I don't have a freezer or a fridge down here, so it's just easier. Just go upstairs. I will rinse that out, and I'll put the eggs in there, and then I'll come back down to put the salt and hook it all up again. So that one was the one I set up yesterday. I'll move that to the front of the row, and this one here, and I'll go clean this one out. Now, these jars I use for an awful lot of stuff, but they're really not ideal for hatching brine shrimp. They have a narrow neck, and I find a lot of eggs and hatched shrimp will end up stuck on the sides up there. It is what I have at the moment. I didn't want to go to any great pains to do the inverted cone thing, so I'll wait until I make the new system, and then I'll deal with that problem. So all it is this is just grocery store sea salt, and there's a brand in our area that's just really cheap. You get a good sized box of it for, I think it was $1.79, and that's it. There you go. Shove that onto the air system, and I'm done. So thank you very much for watching. Leave comments, let me know what you think about all this, and I will see you in the next video, and bye for now.